Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Transform Podcast presented by NoContextCFB. And you know what? We actually have a decent amount of news. Last few weeks, there's been quite literally nothing going on. But in the sport that never sleeps, we finally got some news to awaken. My name is Andrew, alongside Dave. How are we doing today, man?
Doing all right. Hanging in there. I'm excited. Finally, something's happening, and I just can't wait for the season to start.
Yeah, obviously, you have the Penn State hat on. I have a backwards Arizona hat on because I always wear this hat for some odd reason. And you know what? I'm going to start on a tangent. You know what? Who cares? Penn State fan. What's the thoughts on the whiteout situation with Big Noon kickoff?
All right. So I knew it was going to happen because, wait, the whiteout's Big Noon kickoff? Is that?
No. So Ohio State's the Big Noon kickoff.
It's the night game, right? Sorry, I got confused.
Yeah.
That's the night game.
Minnesota's whiteout. Ohio State got the Big Noon kickoff treatment.
Okay. So as somebody that goes to Penn State, Ohio State every year, coming from New York, for me at least, it kind of sucks because now I'm going to have to get to my Airbnb that I'm renting and then be at the tailgate fields by 5 a.m. and then try to figure out by like that. But I don't know. I just thought it was really weird that you have Ohio State coming to town and that's the Big Noon kickoff. I mean, Fox will do whatever they want. It'll be fun, Minnesota whiteout, but I just think that they kind of screwed the pooch on that because if you want your viewers, Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, it's upsetting, but at the same time, Fox is making the business decision that they know is going to benefit them.
Oh yeah.
So you can't fault them, but you can also fault them for being like, come on, this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Minnesota fan. I'm going to try and get to that game. But I also I understand Penn State fans wanting, Ohio State rather than Minnesota. I'm not too much of an egotistical person to think that Minnesota is a better game than Ohio State. I'm a little egotistical because I think it's going to be a good game, but not to that extent. But you also said 5 o'clock for tailgate lots?
Yeah, so the way that it works is that you can get there as early as you want. So for a noon game, we'll probably start tailgating at 5, 6 in the morning.
Ours open at 7.
Yeah, I think it's either 5 or 6. I haven't really driven there yet. Usually when I was a student, I just walk over and find a tailgate, but this is the first year we're setting our own up. So yeah, I think 5 is the earliest. I could be wrong, but that's the plan at the moment.
I need to try and find some sort of a tailgate if I can get out there because no dig, because I love Minnesota. Our tailgates are not our specialty.
Yeah, our tailgates are incredible. It's just a whole grass lot. I don't know if anyone listening has ever done it, but it's so much fun. And there's so many, and people are pretty friendly. So you walk around, talk to people. Sometimes one tailgate becomes 4 tailgates and a whole big tailgate. Yeah, we did one year. Penn State, Ohio State, when the fourth and 6 that play for that tailgate, my buddy's family friend rented an RV. We had RV spots right outside the stadium. It was so much fun. Yeah, it's perfect for tailgating over there.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. And we're gonna try and avoid the tangents, but they're gonna happen because it seems like whenever we do a podcast together, it's tangent city.
Always off the rail.
Yeah, well, and this one took about 12 seconds to get off the rails, but we'll try and stay on the straight and narrow because we do need to talk about Arch Manning. The high school prospect rated a 1.0 according to 24/7, 5 stars, the whole shebang, and tied for the best ever. Just like the other 2 1.0 quarterbacks of all time are going to Texas. Quinn Ewers by way of Ohio State, but they'll have a nice conversation about that when Arch gets there next year. Do you have any just initial comments on Manning to Texas at this time?
I mean, good for Texas, man. That's awesome. I had no idea where Arch Manning was going to go. I personally thought he was going to go somewhere in the SEC. I didn't know if he was going to go like his uncles to Ole Miss or Tennessee or whatever. But I think Texas is he wants to be in the spotlight. So Texas is the perfect spot. And that's a tough place to play too, because God forbid his first year, he doesn't show up and he's not great. They're going to be coming after him. But what I'm curious about, what I'm interested in is the relationship, like you brought up Quinn Ewers, what their relationship is going to be if Ewers is going to be open to like helping him out and that kind of stuff, or if he's just going to be like, F this, like, I can't believe that I'm your guy and you went out and got Arch Manning. I'm very curious about that dynamic between the two of them and how that's going to turn out.
Yeah, I think with the whole recruiting thing, this was probably the best opportunity for Arch Manning because I don't think Saban was. This is going to sound weird. I don't think Saban wants to deal with the headache of a Manning on his team. I don't think he wants to deal with having just that much more spotlight on one of his quarterbacks because we know what happens when he gets asked about quarterbacks. If we go back a few years, he's just going to ask you to quit asking. Mm-hmm. But I always thought it was down to Texas and Georgia. I never saw Tennessee as an option because they do have Nico. I'm going to mess this up. Ayamaleva.
I think that's pretty good.
I thought it was Yamaleva. Then I was watching 24/7 and they said Ayamaleva. I believe it was Josh Pate. Shout out. Amazing show. But so if it is Ayamaleva, he's there. I doubt that was ever an opportunity for Arch. Ole Miss, I don't think. I think that was just kind of a flirt with Lane Kiffin. I mean, yeah, Lane Kiffin and a Manning that would have broken social media.
Insane.
And then there was that small rumor about Virginia because I believe Arch's mom went to Virginia. Yeah. And if he would have went to Virginia, whoa. I think
yeah, that would have actually been kind of cool, but also been like, now I gotta watch Virginia football. Come on. And I guess they would have won 8 games with him, but yeah, I'm glad he's somewhere big like Texas.
Yeah. And the thing I don't think we're talking enough about with his recruitment is the fact that after he committed, which by the way was about 2 or 3 days after his high school teammate, a 3-star tight end, committed to Texas after the OV, there have been a ton of commits to Texas. Yeah. They've gotten a good amount of offensive linemen, which is good. You're going to protect Arch. Hopefully they can protect Quinn while he's still there. But I love it for Texas. I don't care what you think of Arch. I don't care what you think of, oh, he's going to bust because he's a Manning or whatever, or he's going to be amazing because he's a Manning. It's just great for Texas because not only does it give them quarterback for after Quinn Ewers, it gives them more commitments because people want to play with Arch. People want to play with Quinn. People are saying that Texas is on the rise. We're not going to say Texas is BACK yet, but in the recruitment rankings, which it's June 28th, so they don't mean diddly squat, they're looking pretty back.
They are. Yeah. It's going to be an exciting time. And then the SEC, how that's going to – got to get these guys in now if you want to try to contend in the SEC. Yeah, they may be BACK. Who knows? We'll have to see.
Yeah, if Texas can be BACK, then not only is it going to be fun because just Texas is a football brand that we need, but they're going to be going into the SEC. They're going to be going into the trenches with OU, A&M, Arkansas, 3 other programs that are doing pretty well. Oklahoma, not as much, but depends on what you believe Brett Venables to be as a head coach. So Arch Manning, Texas, great job. I will say one more thing. There's a lot of pressure being a 5-star. I think there's significantly more pressure being a Manning.
Oh yeah. They've been talking about him since he was in the 8th grade. It's like watch Arch Manning. It's kind of like watching like LaMelo and Lonzo Ball, those guys, but it's different because you're a Manning, so it's not as publicized as the Balls were. But you're a Manning. Like we've been watching this kid interested in him playing ball since the 8th grade, and finally he is going to be at Texas in a year. And I'm just being a Manning is just so tough because if you aren't as good as your uncles or grandpa, he's Cooper's son, so I guess we'll have to find out, but I'm excited.
You mentioned the Balls. Imagine if Cooper Manning was just the LeVar Ball of football. Imagine the amount of publicity Arch would have had over the last few years. It would just be perfect. Now, I'm kind of glad he's not, even though I love LeVar Ball. I think he's so funny. And he raised so many great basketball players. But I feel like it's just a little bit better for Arch Manning right now. But 2 other quarterbacks we go, because it's not just Arch Manning. There are a lot of quarterbacks in this recruiting class. We talked about Nico Ayamaleva. I don't believe he's participating in Elite 11 this week. I believe I think he's there. I just don't think he's competing. Malachi Nelson committed to USC is there. Dante Moore, not committed anywhere yet, even though not breaking news. It seems like a lot of news about him is to Oregon. That's nothing official, but just what I've seen. Who else is there? Because I'm definitely forgetting names. But there are a lot of talented quarterbacks at Elite 11. In fact, there's one that's taking a lot of headlines right now by the name of Jaden Rashada from the state of California, just committed to the University of Miami just a few days ago, the U.
You baby.
And a little interesting news came out when that happened, because there were reports saying that he earned an NIL deal. And I'm going to put air quotes around NIL because until I learn more about the NIL, I don't believe you can earn an NIL deal coming out of high school. I think that's more of, not legal, but it's a way boosters can pay players without being looked down upon more than they were in the past, even though we like players getting paid. It looks like he was getting a $9.5 million NIL deal to go to Miami, which in the recent days, both his agent, the booster, and Jaden himself have declined. They've said that that isn't true. But I think the more interesting fact is that in that same post, he turned down an $11 million deal to go play for Florida.
Yeah, he said that it's not about the money. It's whatever fits best for him, which is, I think, great, that you're not focused on the money, because I know a lot of guys would see that $11 million number and be like, I don't care who's offering. If UMass is offering me $11 million, I'll go play there. Like, there's a lot of guys that would just go do that, and I'm probably like that too. Yeah, it's just so crazy the way this has blown up, and these kids can get $11 million to play college ball. Like, they don't even have to play. Like, Quinn Ewers got $1 million at Ohio State and didn't even play for them and left. I just think that it's great that they're getting paid as they should, but it's just so crazy the way that it influences recruiting and the transfer portal and all that stuff, that somewhere along the line, you got to try to regulate it, because it's going to get crazier than it is right now.
Yeah. I'm proud because I just held back an awful pun, but just know if you know 90s West Coast rap, you know what term, what song I was about to bring up with regulating the NIL. But yeah, this is getting a little crazy. It's because I don't even think this is NIL, because the NIL is name, image, likeness. He's not really getting paid for his name, image, likeness. He's getting paid for going to the university. University's not going to use his name, image, likeness for stuff that they wouldn't use recruits that they're not paying for. They're paying him for the product that he's going to produce on the field. So that's another place where we're in a gray area right now. It's impossible to get to, this is what we need, or, what, just have the Wild West. We don't know what's going on. Just do whatever the heck you want. If you have money, spend it. If you don't have money, sucks for you. But we need to find a little bit like closer to one of those sides. Like, if we're going to have an all-out spending battle, not completely against it, but you also need to like say, hey, let's not pay $2 million for a kicker.
Yeah, you got to regulate it, like, because that could easily happen. It's bidding war. It could just be free agency in the NBA or baseball or the NFL, whatever it is. It could come to that. Hopefully, it doesn't. But I mean, if you're a player, it's hard to not say yes to that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, we also got to think about it. These kids are just coming out of high school. They're 18.
That's insane.
They're slightly younger than me. People slightly younger than me are getting paid 7 figures.
Yeah,
but
it's like, if I'm coming out of high school and someone's like, here's $11 million, I'll be like, well, yeah, all right, I'll do whatever. Like, it's so tempting, and these boosters have the money. Like, I know it probably isn't true, the Miami NIL deal, but like, Miami has wealthy boosters from the city of Miami. These big schools, Ohio State, all these big famous moguls go to these big time schools. They can just throw money at a guy and he'll be like, all right, yep, I'll play football for you for a year. If I don't play, then I can leave. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't think the numbers are correct. Do I think he's getting paid something? Yes, of course.
100%.
I mean, he's a 4-star quarterback. He's not, most likely, he's not getting paid $9.5 million, but I also don't think he's not getting paid some money. He's getting something. It's the University of Miami. I mean, there's something involved. There's something involved at every school, but a kid is going to play at Miami. You don't think he's getting a nice car or something? You don't think he's getting a nice apartment? Come on.
He's going to be able to go to clubs and bars and whatever he wants. They'll be like, oh, hey, yeah, come in.
They'll probably give him a fake ID.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he'll get every single perk you can think of in that city.
If the bouncers don't just let him in because he's the quarterback for Miami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, man, that would be an amazing perk. Not encouraging the use of the fake ID or underage drinking, but covering all my legal bases right here. Just be legal. Sure.
Yeah. Wink. Yeah.
Unless you're the Miami quarterback, then do whatever the heck you want. But yeah, great job from Miami. They're killing it in this recruiting class. We're going to talk about that a little bit later because we're going to introduce a new little segment called This or That. It's pretty complicated. You're going to have two options, and you're going to have to choose between this or that. I know it's a groundbreaking theory that I completely thought of on my own. No one's ever done it before. So great job by me. We're going to start off. Thank you. Death Valley or Death Valley?
I'm going to go not Clemson solely because Dabo just bothers me. Like, I think it's awesome. They go touch the rock and they run down, but Dabo Swinney leading you down the field is just like, come on, dude. Don't. If you take Dabo out of the then it's a fair fight. But I gotta go LSU just because of Dabo is just bothering me. And I love at night there. I love the 5 yards every. I don't know why I just like that when it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I just think it's perfect. And it's just in the lights in Louisiana. So I'm picking Death Valley.
Yeah, if you told me you're going to a primetime game, it's either in Clemson, South Carolina, or Baton Rouge, Louisiana, knowing everything that's around Tiger Stadium, I'm going to lean towards Baton Rouge, 100%. Not even just because of the stadium, but everything around it. Even though night games at Tiger Stadium are electric, they are elite. It is stellar. They're prime time. You're getting on ABC, you're getting on, CBS if it's an SEC matchup. It's amazing. I want to get down there sometime. I'm also going with the LSU Death Valley, not the fake one that's in South Carolina. Next up, would you rather have an elite passing attack, but a non-existent rushing attack, or an elite rushing attack and a non-existing passing attack? So would you rather be Army or an NFL team?
Yeah, you got to go passing. I love the run. I love pounding the rock, but I like Minnesota, as you know, they just run the ball. Tanner Morgan can't throw the ball. And I'd rather have a Mike Leach offense that just slings it and absolutely elite. No one can stop, which is pretty much what LSU was a couple of years ago with Joe Burrow, and Clyde could catch the ball and do whatever. But yeah, you got to go because there's nothing better than just watching a beautiful spiral down the field, 80 yards for a touchdown. I love the run, but I just can't watch a game. You're just going to run the ball the entire time. It's really tough.
See, I think that's where we differ because I love watching people run the ball. Sure, you get your random, you can't get past the line of scrimmage or it's a 2-yard gain, but it's just demoralizing. If you're stacking the box with 9 and you're still giving up like 300 rushing yards, that's just demoralizing. The defense has got to be just crying at halftime. If you have an elite passing attack, what's the point of having a defensive lineman then? You just put 10 people in coverage and have a spy. I like my chances with that rather than if you have 11 guys in the box, probably not 11 because you have to have guys watching the outside or maybe a
put 9 guys
deep. Yeah, not 9 or 8 guys in the box, but then you've got probably 7 or 8 linemen. You got your quarterback, lead blocker too. See, that's why I love Army Navy. The atmosphere, yes, it's amazing. It's America's college football game. Armed forces going at it. But I mean, that's just a great way of watching football. It's how it used to be. Now, I'm not saying that this era of football sucks because I love throwing the football. But my gosh, if you run for 250, 300 yards on someone, that's more demoralizing than giving up 600 passing yards because you can give up 600 passing yards. I forget who it was against, but KJ Costello did it. What was it, 2 years ago for Mississippi State?
Yeah, he did.
But imagine giving up 400 rushing yards to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
You would probably quit football. That would be your last game. You would say, you know what? I can't get any lower. Might as well quit now because there's just no coming back from this. So I'm going to take the rushing attack. And a great passing attack is set up by a rushing attack.
That's true. But counterpoint, I feel like when you say elite rushing attack, then your quarterback can't throw the ball. That's kind of how I viewed the situation.
True.
If I'm running an air raid, and I'll run the ball a little bit. Like you'll pound the rock a little bit. You can get 4 yards maybe every carry. But I just see if I'm running the ball eventually, and you have a great rushing attack, that's perfect, fine. Like Wisconsin, but Wisconsin's never won anything with anybody. Melvin Gordon, Monte Ball, they just run the ball with these great running backs. But then you have Joel Stave at quarterback. You're not doing anything. It's great football, but it just has to be infuriating to watch when your quarterback can't move and can't throw. Army Navy, maybe one of the best. It's not maybe one of. It is one of the best games every single year. It's just fantastic, the atmosphere, like you said. But I don't want to watch every single game, every football game for the rest of my life. I wouldn't be able to do that. I'd be like, I'd fall asleep. It's just you gotta give me a 6'5" quarterback, evading, chucking the ball. That's all I want. I love it.
Now, see, what if I said, give me a 6'5" quarterback, but we just run Wildcat power down their throats?
Ooh, I won a Super Bowl in Madden like that one year. Danny Woodhead, yeah, I did. Yeah, that's true. If you're gonna give me that, like a Blake Bell type, then now the gear's returning because I was thinking of a traditional power I run.
Oh no, we
that's
can't
a
run
little different.
There's gotta be creativity in there.
Yeah, that's exciting actually. But I'm gonna stick with the pass because you can hook and ladders. Give me everything.
That's true. Passing attack is fun. But rushing attack for me is like a chess game.
That's true.
And I suck at chess.
Shout out Lou Nichols. Best rusher in the game.
Lou Nichols is very freaking good.
I love Lou Nichols.
We talked about rivalries. We're going to talk about 2 right here. Would you rather go to the game at location of your choice for either of these? Would you rather go to the game or the Iron Bowl?
Iron Bowl. It's just every single year. I'm glued to that every single year. The Iron Bowl is just because it's they're either 2 of the best teams or Auburn isn't great and Alabama's number 2 in the country like last year. You just can't beat the Iron Bowl. It's just it's college football to me. That's what college football is. It's the Iron Bowl. And I would love to go to Tuscaloosa or Auburn just to watch one of those games. It's insane every year.
I would choose going to Jordan Hare for that game just because not only I believe that to be a better stadium, but just to be able to think this is where the kick 6 happened. I mean, just a legendary moment.
It's one of the best, if not the best, college football play ever. It's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, and even when you talked about it, even when Auburn's not great, this year they lost by 2 points?
Well, they got because of the stupid overtime rule, and then Alabama somehow went 93 yards, whatever it was, in a minute and scored. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like you just don't get that. That's the only series rivalry game that I think you can get that every single year in and out, no matter where you go.
I was watching the scoreboard because obviously I couldn't watch that game because I was at a different game, and I was like, "What the heck is going on in this game right now?" Because I saw for 3.5 quarters Auburn's winning, and it was just like, well, Alabama, what the heck is going on? And then I see on my phone TJ Finley's playing.
Yeah,
because I completely forgot about that. And I'm like, so this isn't even a Bo Nix Heisman dark horse game.
No,
this is a TJ Finley on one leg beating the eventual SEC champions, eventual national championship runner-ups. And this Auburn team, we criticized them throughout the last half of the season because they sucked. They gave up big leads to teams like Mississippi State, which no offense to Mississippi State, but if you're up 28-3 on Mississippi State, you should probably beat Mississippi State. And then we had this whole offseason, Harsin. Auburn's a weird team, which is why I want to watch them.
Exactly. I would like to go to the game for a second, and this is also why I pick Iron Bowl. I've been to the shoe a couple times, twice, I believe. It's Ohio State fans. Listen to me. Why are you so quiet at all times during the game? It's just constantly just quiet. I got yelled at once because I was being too loud at the game. Some girl like yelled in my ear. She was like, "Stop!" I was wearing Penn State stuff, obviously, but I was like, "It's just so quiet. You guys are kicking our ass, and there's nothing." OHIO, the chant. It's cool for the first 3 times. The rest of the time, you don't have to do it 15 times. Ann Arbor, Big House. That's a place I would like to go. But the shoe, beautiful, great football because they kick our ass every year. A little bit of a snooze fest.
I've actually never heard that. I've heard similar things about Athens, Georgia, but never about Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, it's weird, dude. It's so. I mean, it could just be me, but like when I'm there, it's just maybe it was a noon kickoff. Maybe it just isn't. It gets loud for like, I guess a big play, but there's no like yelling, screaming during. Like Sean Clifford's allowed to line up and he can talk to his guys. He doesn't have to like signal anything because he can hear the entire time. That's what it's just very quiet. Weird to me, and I'll never get used to it.
Yeah, quiet and college football games only happen when the home team is getting obliterated by a massive underdog on the road. I should know. But I'm going to move on before I get PTSD flashbacks of the Falcons.
Bowling Green Falcons, baby. Oh, boy.
That was really homecoming. I don't think I've said this on a podcast. Their cheer squad were the biggest group of they were just chanting in our faces, the student section. And it's like, bro, what? You weren't playing?
I mean, what else are they? I mean, that's their job. Hype up or get in your face. Good for them, man.
I've never heard of a cheer squad getting in other teams' faces though. They're supposed to be cheering on your student section. It's like, woohoo, yeah, MINNESOTA. But it's like I've never heard them, a traveling cheer squad, go to the student section and just rub it in their faces. Yes, we know we lost. Okay?
That's awesome, actually. I love that. I mean, I know it must have stung for you, but as a neutral party, that's so funny.
It was the second worst thing I saw because the worst was the Illinois punter doing the row and then just snapped the oar. That killed me.
Illinois makes me sad. They really.
Screw you, Burt Bielema. Yeah. But we're gonna move on. Hot dog versus soft pretzel. I feel like this one's kind of easy.
I mean, for me, I love both. I love a hot dog. I love a soft pretzel. For me, a hot dog is a baseball food. I just associate hot dogs with going to a baseball game. So I'm going to have to go soft pretzel because I just don't. For me, a hot dog is a baseball food. And Penn State, I don't know if a lot of people know this. We have these chicken buckets that you get at the game.
Yeah.
If that was a choice, far and away that. But I want to go soft pretzel.
I feel like my Midwesterners coming out and saying, I understand people saying hot dog. If you're a Midwesterner and you're not getting a brat,
yeah,
it's a brat. Okay. I don't want that Nathan's packaged in. By the way,
dirty water.
Some people don't know what the casing for some hot dogs are. And when you tell them, they don't believe you. And then they realize, oh, I won't say it because this isn't a food podcast. But if you aren't aware of what some hot dog casing is, go do some research. Google it's kind of disgusting. But if it's brat versus soft pretzel, I'm taking a brat. And I'm putting some spicy brown mustard on it. And I am going crazy. But I'm going with the soft pretzel. If you get me some of that warm cheese sauce, throw some jalapenos in there.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. But at the same time, I also don't eat during college football games. So I don't know if that's a weird thing. This is probably more of a tailgate question.
Yeah. Well, tailgates, you get, yeah, that's true. Some pulled pork, buffalo chicken dip. So much you can do with tailgates. Brisket. Little mac and cheese in there.
Oh, we had a barbecue truck as one of our tailgates, and My gosh, it looked good.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I'll have to make my way down there now, get some barbecue.
Yeah. I feel like that's another great opportunity for restaurants to advertise. Just get a food truck and tailgate at a college football game.
Oh yeah, that's you'll get drunk fans. They'll be like, "Ooh, let me try this." That happened in Ohio State once. We were walking in the street and we had this chicken. They gave us maple syrup to dip it in. It was the best piece of chicken I've had in my entire life. Shout out that place. It's closed. We forgot the name. We've never been able to find it again. But yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to line the streets with food trucks. Great idea. Let's do it. Let's go to Minnesota. We'll start a business. We'll make grilled cheeses or something. We'll sell them to people.
Grilled cheese and brats. And for every purchase, you get a free beer. So you get all the college students there.
Oh, wow. We'd be mobbed. We'd make so much. This is genius.
We just created the next best business venture. We need to trademark this.
Oh my God, this is genius. Get a free beer with every food item, and people will be like, can I? They probably won't even eat the food, but they got to pay for it. So it's very worth it.
They'd probably just drink the beer, and then when they were drunk enough off the beers, then they'd be like, okay, now I'm hungry.
Now I'm hungry. Yep, exactly.
We started talking about college football, high school football, Arch Manning. Now we're talking about creating a food truck and taking over college football
it's a brilliant idea. If anyone listening to this, we might trademark this idea, so you're gonna have to go through us.
Oh, we have to.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and I think that we're gonna do it. We can make it. We could do locations across the country too. We'll make like a chain of food.
You know what? We could do that, or we could do a road trip.
Yes, go across the country. Every college game day location.
You know what? The official restaurant of College Game Day. Hit us up, ESPN.
We just gotta find a name for the truck. If you have any names for the truck, let us know. This is genius.
How has no one ever thought of this?
I don't know. I'm sure people have done it, but yeah, this is wow. This is a groundbreaking podcast.
This is history. You are witnessing history. And since you are witnessing history, you might as well like the video. You know, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts, follow, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Everyone tells you to do it. You might as well do it for us because we really appreciate it. Follow T-Portal CFB on Twitter. So I'm sure this is going to end up clipped on there as well. But we'll move away from food for a little bit, even though it's tough too, because we just made some history. Starting quarterback on a great FCS team. For this example, we can say any FCS team. Doesn't have to just be North Dakota State because that's what you think of. Okay. Or would you be a backup on a mid-level Power 5? So we're not talking Vanderbilt. We're talking like a Texas Tech.
Okay. So this is the easiest question anyone's ever asked me. It's the backup on a Texas Tech-like team because, look, it's not about playing for it's about the atmosphere. You get to sit in these stadiums. You don't have to play. It's the best job in the world. I've been saying to my friends for years, the best job in the world is to either be a backup on a huge team or a backup in the NFL because you go to these huge stadiums. You're on the football team. You're going to go to parties. You meet people. It's just far and away. That's just awesome. You don't have to play either. So no one's ever going to be mad at you. You're just on the team. It's backup on like a Texas Tech like team. That's easy answer.
I feel like it kind of depends on where I am, which is kind of weird because I made this question and I don't know the answer to it. Mm-hmm. Like if you gave me two definitive answers, I'd probably be able to pick. Like if I was picking between North Dakota State and Texas Tech, I would realistically pick Texas Tech because screw the cold.
Yeah, but, also true.
I mean, then at the same time, I get to play in the Fargo Dome. And if you're starting quarterback in the FCS, especially North Dakota State, then you have a chance to go to the NFL where you can be a backup and then be a backup quarterback in the NFL. So do you want to have the possibility of having the two-level attack of the college quarterback and the quarterback in the NFL? You might not play a lot, or maybe you're the next Trey Lance, but you could also be the next Easton Stick.
Easton Stick lived a great life.
Easton Stick, he won. He won the lottery in life. What? He's still with the Chargers.
He's on the Chargers, I think, or he's in the league at least. Yep, he's on the Chargers. That guy, that's the prime. That guy's living the best life of all time. What's his salary? Let's find out. Let's check out.
That's probably not much, but it's. I say not much.
He's making $1 million, $2 million a year. He signed a 4-year, $2 million contract. So how much is he making a year? I don't know, man.
$500K.
He's making $965,000. That's incredible.
He's getting paid $965,000 to hang out in Los Angeles with Justin Herbert.
It's incredible. I might buy an Easton Stick jersey now. What a guy. My hero.
You know what? Man, now I really want to take the starting quarterback on a great FCS team. Because then you also have more face recognizability, recognition. Is that the word? Because like you could walk around Lubbock and people might not know who you are. You walk around Fargo or you walk around Missoula, Montana, people are going to know who the heck you are.
But also, you're playing with a fine line here. You can either be Easton Stick or you're Carson Wentz. The last person in the world I want to be is Carson Wentz.
Okay, I wouldn't say the last. He's making a lot of money.
Yeah, but he's just not very. Yeah, it's true. But like, he gets yelled at a lot and booed. And I know I have a lot of friends from Philly, and it's pretty interesting how they feel about him. But yeah, I'd rather be Easton Stick than Carson Wentz. That's my hot take for the podcast.
I feel like I'd rather be Carson Wentz because he has a Super Bowl ring. But you know what? Easton Stick might have one soon because he's on the Chargers. Yeah. And we just turned into an NFL podcast. The tangents don't stop.
Shout out Easton Stick.
Shout out Carson Wentz. Shout out Trey Lance. Shout out every FCS quarterback. Shout out the great Steve.
That'll be interesting this year with him.
So I'll go mid-level P5 back up. You went mid-level P5 back up. And we're going to go to the final question. Mm-hmm. We kind of touched on it earlier with Miami. Mario Cristobal doing a great job in Miami so far. This recruiting cycle, doing amazing. He's getting a lot of buy-in from his higher-ups. A lot of money is going into the Miami football program. You can say the same thing about a certain college over in Los Angeles. No, it's not you, UCLA Bruins. No one cares about you. The USC Trojans. Would you rather be Lincoln Riley right now or Mario Cristobal?
Lincoln Riley, I think, because I'd rescind. I'd rather be Mario Cristobal. There's so much less pressure on you to win right now because Miami hasn't been incredible since Mark Richt left, and they're not really expected to be a powerhouse where USC is a sexy pick to win the title this year. So I'd rather be Cristobal because there's a lot less pressure. And if you do incredible and you make this team, you get them in a New Year's Six Bowl, everybody's going to love you. And you can only go up. Lincoln Riley needs to win the Pac-12 essentially for him to not be considered a failure in his first year.
I would agree with Cristobal. I would say for different reasons. Number one, Cristobal played at Miami. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of having the Scott Frost Nebraska effect, hopefully with a lot more success than Scott Frost is seeing in Lincoln right now. But I think Cristobal also has the more proven quarterback. You can say all the things in the world about Caleb Williams. Oh, yeah, he's this dynamic talent. Yes, he's talented, but I would much rather take Tyler Van Dyke right now than Caleb Williams. I don't know if that's a hot take to some people because I know Caleb Williams is like third in Heisman odds, which to me is kind of crazy because I thought he was one of the most overrated players last year, but that's a completely different conversation. Mm-hmm. He has the more consistent quarterback, Cristobal with Tyler Van Dyke. He doesn't really have the offensive weapons right now, but he's recruiting them. I think Miami's looking really good in recruiting. Of course, USC's probably going to be a little bit better because, the talent in California is going to stay in California. But I agree with you. I think just Miami, not as much pressure to win right now. With USC, this is going to offend some people that are diehard USC fans. USC fans are kind of bandwagon because if you saw from last year, the Coliseum was probably more empty than the ruins in Rome or Greece. I'm not a history person.
Rome,
yeah, the Coliseum in Rome, there were more people there, but they're probably not with us anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. I also, LA is a weird sports town and they'll only root for you if you win. So Miami's the same way though, honestly. Like my dad went to Miami and he always told me that he loved the team and loved going to games. It was always empty. Like it's the same kind of thing there.
Yeah.
It's there's more pressure on Riley than Cristobal. That's kind of my main takeaway from the question.
What I'll also say is there's probably less people in Miami because Miami doesn't have their own stadium. So whenever they finish constructing their stadium that they're going to plan on building, which they better, because I would love to see a Miami school stadium with a student section that hopefully cares about football. rather than, going to Miami Beach or something, because Miami football is better than the Miami Beach. I don't know if that's a hot take, but probably is to some people. But you know what? That's what this podcast is about. Not really, but we'll roll with it. I would love to see Miami have their own stadium. If Cristobal can be the leader of the charge when Miami gets their own stadium, man, they're going to be rolling. Because you can even look at, we didn't even do this. We didn't even compare the conferences. USC's got to deal with Utah. They got to deal with one of the biggest money spenders outside the SEC in Oregon. And they're going to have UCLA, who UCLA is not on their level, but they're always going to be like close because it is still UCLA.
Yeah.
But look in the ACC. Florida State's down. For expectations from last year and comparison, Clemson is slightly down because they're not national championship title contenders. They don't have an elite quarterback talent unless you think highly of DJ Uiagalelei. And to that I say, why?
No.
Nothing else in the ACC is really sexy right now. Miami.
Good point. Miami could be. They could be appealing. Yeah, you're right.
And especially with the new ACC schedule reformat, divisions are gone that we didn't even talk about, even though we're a college football podcast. And that was probably the biggest news that came out today.
Yeah, that's true.
We suck at our jobs.
And we're working on it. But I think that's awesome. The no divisions. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think
that's
how it should be.
Every conference needs to do it.
Yep.
Like the SEC, I know they're probably going to agree on something within the next year. They're probably going to go to 14 pods, which essentially is just the same thing that the ACC just did, except like it'll be more pronounced because it's the SEC and everything has to be more pronounced. The Big Ten has to do it because, no offense, I don't want to play Purdue every year. Purdue is a good team. I don't care.
Do the 3 protected teams like Penn State should play Ohio State, Michigan State every year. I don't want to play exactly. I don't want to play Rutgers in Maryland every year. Just get rid of it and have the 3 protected teams. You know what it should be if you follow the conference, and that's how it should be done.
Actually, the more I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to think of who Minnesota's third team is, because obviously we have Iowa and Wisconsin, but there's a part of me that wants to say our third team is actually Michigan because the Brown Jug.
Yeah, probably then.
Because I know people are going to say, oh, well, they have to
get Purdue probably, honestly.
Ew. No one wants Purdue. Yeah. Sorry, Keegan, but no one wants Purdue.
I feel like they got to keep it. So I guess we'll find. They got. I think they keep it to the divisions. Honestly, I think that's how they would do it. But that'd be
which kind of sucks because that's kind of eliminating the point.
I'm talking about Purdue, and I got to worry about them week 1 too. I'm not worried. Penn State's gonna win. I'm not worried. One of my buddies.
You sure about that?
I'm not worried. 3.5 opening at 3.5 point favorites is very telling on the road. Very telling what's going to happen.
That is true.
The game by a touchdown.
To be fair, people have also opened as 3.5 point favorites on the road and lost to Purdue. I believe that's what Michigan State's line was last year. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, week 1, I just realized that James Franklin's our head coach. Yeah, there's an article coming about this soon, guys. So make sure you read that when it comes out the next couple of days. But yeah, I'm not worried. Maybe I'm a little worried, but I think Penn State will win week 1. You know what? I'm guaranteeing a win. No, I'm not.
And that's where we ended it. You did not just see him rescind his guarantee. You only saw the guarantee. Penn State, congratulations on being 1-0. Sucks for you, Purdue. You'll spoil someone else's season. It'll probably be Minnesota's. Appreciate you for watching, listening, whatever the heck you're doing with this podcast. If you made it this far, really appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff that we told you to do earlier if you didn't do it already. And if you did do it already, please don't click the like, subscribe button again, because then it kind of doesn't do it. So make sure it's clicked. Click it. Appreciate you for watching. T-Portal CFB on Twitter. We have a crazy few 6 weeks until the season.
Oh yeah, it's coming right up. I'm very excited.
College football is coming. Be ready.
Hawaii Vanderbilt, August 27th, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Get ready.
Some people might wait an extra day. I won't, because I'm a sicko. We're all sickos here.
I'll be watching.
But we'll be ready. Hawaii Vanderbilt. Thank you everyone for watching and listening. Have a great day.